everyone, and welcome to JFK. Today I'm headed to Terminal 1 for a flight with an all-new airline for me, NEOS. NEOS is an Italian airline that was founded in 2001 and operates flights, for the most part, to holiday destinations. But last year they launched a new route between Milan and New York with their new 787s, and have since opened additional direct flights between New York and cities like Catania and Naples. NEOS is Italy's second largest airline, and before this flight I really didn't know much about them. There's a couple of reviews on YouTube, but nothing too comprehensive, so I had no idea what to expect. And I have to admit that first impressions were not very good. The website kept giving me an error when I tried to reserve a seat during booking, and boarding was delayed by about half an hour. At this point, a part of me really wished that I had booked this trip on a different airline. But after wandering around the terminal and plane spotting for a while, the 787 Dreamliner that would be taking me to Italy came into view. This 787 is only about 4 years old, and I gotta say, I really like NEOS's blue livery on this plane. Maybe this flight won't be so bad after all. There's a premium section at the front of the plane that has 28 premium economy seats, and then there's the economy cabin back here where I'll be sitting that has a total of 331 seats. During check-in I was finally able to select a seat, so I chose 42L way in the back. Most of the seats are in a 3-3-3 layout. They have adjustable headrests, they recline, there's storage pockets, pretty large tray tables, and IFE screens.
The captain and his crew on behalf of NEOS welcome you on board this Boeing 787 Dreamliner.
My name is Piero, captain of this NEOS Flyer destination Milano. I wish to welcome you on board on behalf of the entire crew. Shortly we'll be leaving the parking area. The weather route will be nice.
This flight ended up not being very full, so boarding didn't take that long. NEOS offers pretty affordable flights on this route, with one-way flights starting from about $250. I, on the other hand, booked this trip 2 days before departure, so I ended up spending around $500. Now that we're up in the air, let's take a closer look around. For starters, there's reading lights but no individual air vents. A lot of the time this means that it can get a little too warm, but I thought the cabin temperature was fine throughout the flight. They also didn't hand out any blankets or pillows. I thought there was a nice amount of legroom, and there was enough space in the seat back pocket to fit most of my stuff. I think there's supposed to be a universal outlet, but I wasn't able to find it, probably because it was somewhere under the seat next to me, but there is a USB port below the IFE screen. There's a solid selection of complimentary movies to watch, but my favorite discovery on the IFE system was this knockoff of Mario Kart. Although I wasn't very good. This plane is equipped with Wi-Fi, and you can buy packages for 2 hours or the entire flight. You can also use it for free for 15-minute intervals by watching some advertisements. I watched an ad just to try it out, and the Wi-Fi was quick enough to stream YouTube videos. Meals are included with the price of your ticket, and the crew handed them out soon after we reached cruising altitude. There was only one option available, which was this chicken dish, but you can order a special meal ahead of time if you have a dietary restriction. Along with a main, you get a side salad, a bread roll, and some dessert. I was impressed with the presentation. Everything was served on porcelain dishes, the cutlery was metal, and there were even these cool glasses. Most importantly though, the food was good, and they served you free wine, coffee, and tea. After dinner, I decided to take a walk and use the lavatory. There's quite a few restrooms on board, and they were kept nice and clean for the entire flight. Once I got back to my seat, I settled in for the rest of the flight. The crew dimmed the windows, and then eventually the cabin lights were turned off as we made our way across the Atlantic. The lights were turned back on a couple of hours before landing. I found the seats to be pretty comfortable, but I didn't manage to get any sleep since this flight left in the early evening.
Good morning. Shortly, we'll be offering you breakfast together with a choice of non-alcoholic.
The flight attendants handed out a pre-landing snack along with some coffee and tea. Everyone received a cinnamon Danish. It wasn't the most substantial meal, but it tasted nice, and I was happy to receive it at the tail end of a long flight.
We start our descent process from Atlanta Airport. We'll be ready in approximately 30 minutes. Condition is good. The temperature is 19 degrees Celsius.
This was a really nice flight, and if you plan ahead, chances are you can get a great deal. I just searched some random dates in October and found return flights with NEOS between JFK and Milan for only $375. That's about half the price of the other airlines.
NEOS and his crew welcome you to your destination. For your own safety, we kindly ask you to remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until the fasten seatbelt sign is switched off and the aircraft reaches its parking position.
I'd like to fly with NEOS again, but this time in their premium cabin. I didn't really feel like I needed a more comfortable seat or better food on this 8-hour flight, but I just think it would be interesting to see what their premium service is like, and prices start for only about $500 one way. I also want to mention that the crew were wonderful on this flight, and so was everyone else that I dealt with from NEOS for that matter. When I had issues selecting a seat, I spoke with someone from the airline, and even though my problem wasn't resolved, they were very friendly and did their best to correct the issue. After clearing customs, I spent a day in Milan, and then I took that Norwegian 737 up to Oslo in order to catch the inaugural flight of Norse Atlantic to New York. And that's the end of this video. Do you think that NEOS is a good alternative to ITA and the other airlines that fly to Italy? Let me know below.